Day 1 Dhamma Talk. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Trisika Insight Meditation Center in Plant City, Florida. Today is the first day of the 10-day Insight Meditation Retreat. Today we will talk about how to begin the fundamentals of practice that you will need for the 10-day retreat. The practice is the beginning of the journey to liberation from suffering. At this center, we will be learning how to practice, which type of practice suits us, why we are practicing, and the benefits of practicing and learning the truth. Throughout the 10-day retreat, we will get answers and will leave the center with the right view of the teachings of Buddhism, such as the rationale and purpose behind all the teachings. We will practice and learn the truth to gain mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. It's not necessary to be a Buddhist in order to practice. No matter which religion you belong to, there is nothing to restrict people from learning concentration. We can maintain faith in our religion and practice mindfulness insight meditation at the same time. Please give it a try. We will realize that the principle of practicing has nothing to do with religion or belief, but rather embodies the idea of liberating the mind from all the attachments that confine us to suffering and dissatisfaction in our daily lives. Practicing will enable us to have mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. This wisdom specifically refers to the truth of our mind and body and will allow us to separate from the attachments that are causing us to suffer. All the pain and dissatisfaction will disappear from our life. In today's society, we value external objects such as money more than anything until we are completely submerged in these addictions and external attachments. We generally admire wealthy people who have the power to build and create things, while no one is bothered to consider the virtues of these people, such as their generosity or morals. We're not interested in people's morals or character, but are drawn to their social status, wealth, power, and fame. This means that our world has its priorities turned upside down. Good deeds are unrecognized because most people are captivated by the sense of perception through their eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. We are obsessed with the external world and never look within to study our minds. The suffering we experience stems from our expectations, sense of self, and ego. As a result, our thoughts pull us into anxiety, confusion, and frustration, and real, authentic happiness in our lives hardly exists. We overly invest in our emotions until we can no longer be happy with the present moment. In fact, happiness has been with everyone all the time, right in front of us, but we never see it. We overlook it and only see things. For our entire life, we have been chasing after happiness in dreams, but we have never actually seen the fact that we become exhausted every time we chase after something. It will never be enough. We are insatiable and we crave for more. When we have what we want, we fear losing it. It will never end. Desires and passions drive us, wanting more and more again and again. For instance, when we were young, we wanted to graduate from school. When we graduated, we wanted to have a good job. When we had a job, we wanted to get married. When we had gotten married, we wanted to have children. Then, when we had children, we wanted to retire from work and rest. When we are about to die, we will want to know what will become of us. Does life after death really exist? Does life before birth also exist? If you have practice, you will realize that yesterday existed. The day before yesterday also existed. That means that the past is real. Tomorrow is also real. The next 2 days will come. The future also exists. Therefore, this world has its origin and knows where it is going. Are you prepared for what the future will bring? In Buddhism, we practice to liberate ourselves from suffering, to be free from mental conditioning, so we can live in the present moment and enjoy the happiness in front of us, uninfluenced by objects or mental conditioning. That path to happiness will be explained to you during this 10-day retreat. The Buddha identified the threefold training in higher virtue, higher mind, and higher wisdom. According to the Theravada canonical text, pursuing this training leads to the abandonment of lust, hatred, and delusion. One who is fully accomplished in this training attains liberation from suffering. During the first few days of the retreat, we will talk about the three principles of practice, also known as the threefold training. The first training is called higher virtue, which will train your mind to be serene and not be troubled by others. The second training is higher mind, which will awaken your mind and prepare it to be concentrated enough to practice insight meditation. The third training is higher wisdom, which will show our mind the truth of our body and mind, so we can see the elements that comprise us. Once our mind realizes that everything in this world is impermanent, arising and disappearing, it will come to understand the truth and relinquish its attachment to the body and mind. Then our mind will be free from suffering and mental conditioning and will not be submerged in sadness anymore. We will experience the happiness of being free. The happiness of being detached, being free, is unlike any happiness we have experienced before. Previously, we experienced happiness generally achieved by seeking outside, from objects and from other people. We relied on others to have happiness, but the happiness from attaining liberation from suffering is completely different. It's self-fulfilled, without depending on anything or anyone. Have mindfulness as your true friend and wisdom to enlighten your path, so we can travel cheerfully and firmly without getting lost again. We will study and practice this threefold training. The first lesson is about the precepts. In this retreat, we will keep 8 precepts, but in general, as a human being, only 5 precepts are adequate. If our precepts are pure, they will support our mind to be pleasant and calm, making it easy to meditate. On the other hand, if we attempt to kill or hurt anyone, including animals and insects, or have an affair with someone, our mind will be disturbed and we won't be able to be tranquil. But when our precepts are pure, our mind will be calm, and we will be able to practice insight meditation easily. This is the way to prepare our mind for insight meditation. To keep the 8 precepts, we must put a lot of effort into keeping our mind from breaking them. The first one is not to kill. Every time you walk, go anywhere, or think about anything, do not attempt to kill any living beings. The second is not to steal. You don't take the belongings of other people without their permission. The third is not to have sexual intercourse. This precept also includes abstaining from anything related to sexual arousal. The fourth is not to lie. The fifth is not to drink alcohol. The sixth is not to have meals after noon. We still can have beverages such as milk and juices, though. The 7th precept is not to dress up and use makeup and perfume, and to refrain from any entertainment such as dancing, the internet, the phone, music, and TV. The 8th is not to lie or rest on a high and luxurious bed. This is because this type of bed can make you so comfortable that you will not have mindfulness. We sleep to get rest so we will be able to practice, not for enjoyment.